Welcome to the Tone Zone. I
So
think you are perfect.
I think you're perfect, actually. It's a way to work.
Okay. Well, here we are. Welcome to the Tone Zone. Today we have the ever so lovely, multi-talented, multi-banded, legendary
Oh, stop it.
guitar player of famous bands such as 100 Demons
I was in 100 Demons
for a little bit,
for a
right?
while in the beginning, yeah.
Hatebreed,
I was in Hatebreed for a while.
Twitching Tongues.
I'm in Twitching Tongues, yeah.
Any other things that I'm missing?
I'm in Umbra Vitae as well.
That's right.
Yep.
Forget about that. I can't pronounce it, so that's
I don't think I can either, to be honest. Umbra Vitae, Umbra Vitae.
Umbra Vitae.
You know, it's whatever.
Avant-garde.
Avant. It means shadow of life.
That's music.
Yes.
But I'm very excited to have you here today. You are the first interviewer.
I'm honored.
That's professional. We had Sammy from Full of Hell, and that was like a quick one.
Yep.
I got a little updated. I'm just kidding. I just bought some microphones. But this is a chill convo about gear.
Yeah.
Because I feel like no one's ever asked you, like, oh, the light just turned off.
Oh, the light just went off. Should I touch it?
No, it's fine. But no one's ever asked you, like, what is your shit? Like, what do you use? I do remember, I'm probably going to put it in the video, but the guitar player picture of, like, what you use for, like, full stacks.
Oh, the illustration?
Yeah, the illustration. I don't know if you remember that, but
I do remember
I
it.
obsessed over that as a kid.
Oh, that's
I
great.
was like, I gotta
Thanks.
get 2 full stacks.
Gotta have 2 full stacks.
2
ripping.
full stacks, 2 Marshalls, and I'm like, what pedal is he using? And it's just noise suppressor and tuner.
Yep.
That's it. Just
Yeah.
just everything.
A Les Paul and a Marshall.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty much the gist of it.
That's crazy. Do you realize how crazy that is?
I didn't, but then as time went on, I do now. Like, people still ask me, like, what pedals I use, or like what mod.
Yeah, like
what do I have
did
modded
you do
amps or
for
anything?
your-
And
Yeah.
and when I was in Hatebreed, especially, like, it was like number one, I never really had gear when I was like young. So I got a Les Paul since I was, like, younger. So that was my.
That was your first guitar?
No, I had my first guitar.
We'll go into that, but just keep going.
It was a Mako, just so you know. We'll get back to that.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah. But I had a Les Paul since I was younger, and I always had a Les Paul. So playing in bands, but I hardly ever had an amp or anything. So
you would, like, borrow amps.
yeah, always.
You were like, nice set, bro.
Yep.
You
Pretty
were
much.
that guy. Like,
Yeah, for real, like, forever.
Yo, 6 set. Can I borrow everything?
Yeah, totally. That's awesome. Can I just plug in now?
Yeah.
But so then, I think when I got Marshalls and, like, was using stuff and everything, I just didn't. It was good enough. Like, it was.
It was like, oh, this is sick. I don't need to use anything else.
Yeah, I just plugged straight in. Actually, funny enough, the first time I did the thing that I do with the noise suppressor and a Marshall, I was just telling Taylor this the other day. 100 Demons. I was in 100 Demons, and we were playing with Tyrant Trooper, which is Big Rick from 100 Demons band.
Whoa. We
were playing a show together, and he had a DSL 100. And I was just like, his guitar tone is always amazing to me.
Yeah.
And back then, this is like a long time ago, but so I was just like, yo, and it sounded super precise and amazing. And I was just like, how are you making it sound like that? Because I rolled my volume down, like, to do like I always rolled my volume down.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, it's a noise suppressor pedal. And I was just like, what's that?
Interesting.
And then I went, well, can I just play through your rig tonight?
And
then I played it, and I was just like, oh my God. And then that kind of, like, led me to understanding that was pretty much, that's my guitar sound, I guess.
Like, that's all you need, pretty much.
Yeah, so thank you, Rick.
So for all the kids out there who are like, what pedal is it? All you need, Gibson Les Paul, Marshall head, 100 watts at least.
Yeah.
Noise suppressor.
And a tuner if you want to get really fancy.
And a tuner. Sorry, I forgot the tuner. But that leads me to my next question. What was the first ever guitar you've ever gotten ever?
It was a Mako Flying V. It was
So you were Flying V guy
in the yeah, from the
in the
beginning.
beginning?
Yeah. It was a Jackson. It was like a Randy Rhoads ripoff.
Whoa,
So
Mako. I is that like the one of those lawsuit like Japan ones?
yeah, definitely.
Do you still have it?
Yeah. Yep.
Probably worth a lot of money.
No, it's pretty beat up too. Like so I took it apart when I was really young with the delusions of grandeur
You're
of like,
oh, I'm gonna change the pickups.
yeah, I'm gonna do all this cool stuff to it, blah blah blah. Yeah, and then it just never got put back together, and then I got an Ibanez, and then it just like is still in a corner somewhere dismantled. But I have it, so I should put it back together. Oh, hold on.
1 second. Oh wait, drink break again. I
I
wonder if you can hear like the.
I'm sure you can hear everything. You can hear all my wheezing and
yeah,
cough suppression.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
But yeah, so Mako V.
Yeah, Mako V,
Yep.
and the Ibanez you said?
And then I had an Ibanez Pro line.
Pro line.
Yeah, it was like right when they first got away from like doing the Road Stars and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it was like when they started doing the pointy heads. It's like one of the first. I'm sure someone's gonna tell me I'm wrong. It doesn't matter.
Fine.
It's like one of the first of the pointy headstock.
Like the
era.
ones, the 6 line.
It's like goes like that. Has like a little,
Whoa.
kind of like a cool little thing.
That's crazy. I'm not too familiar. Ibanez, I like as like thinking about it, as an idea.
Yeah.
Playing it, I'm just like, this feels weird.
I love Ibanez's actually.
Yeah.
But
they
like,
feel good. It just feels weird,
It's totally different. I like Les Paul's better.
Whoa.
But it's a different vibe. Like an Ibanez is a different vibe.
Yeah, but Ibanez for sure is like a different vibe. I mean, only like real deal, like same thing with Jackson, but I play Jackson, so kind of doesn't. I don't know. Maybe I just never vibe with like the bodies and stuff.
Yeah, it could be. I like their necks a lot, but they're definitely the antithesis of what I do. But like what I like to play it like for a daily driver is not anything like an Ibanez or a Jackson. But I love those guitars.
Yeah, they're really nice. I do know people that play Ibanez. I just don't feel. I mean, personally, in my opinion, I just don't feel like I need to buy a Ibanez ever.
Yeah. Hey.
So Ibanez, if you're watching, no, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, like hey. Anyway.
Anyways, no. And then you said you borrowed a lot of amps. You were that borrowed amp guy.
Yeah, I had a PV VTM 60.
60?
Yeah.
Whoa.
When I was young, and like it ended up MIA. A lot of weird stuff in the 80s. Like I had a rat pedal that ended up MIA. You just leave stuff somewhere, or you'd leave. I was a kind of a feral child. But like I had a PV for a while, and it was cool. And then I just didn't have an amp for a while, so I just always borrowed stuff, like to play a show, or you knew dudes in other bands.
Oh yeah, you're like, hey, I don't have an amp. Can I borrow yours?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, totally. Get in there.
What else am I gonna talk about? I guess because you don't use pedals or anything like that, but we were talking about this off air.
Mm-hmm.
The Metal Zone.
Oh yeah.
Do you fuck with the Metal Zone?
I fuck with the Metal Zone. Yeah, definitely.
I think we're past the minute mark, so we can curse now.
Should we censor ourselves?
I mean, it'd be funny to just.
We could bleep it too. You couldn't post.
I can do that. I can do anything on the iPhone.
Another. If anybody's listening out there, you could use an iPhone endorsement.
I can use an iPhone endorsement.
Yeah.
Even a microphone one too.
Yes.
This sounds good. I know it sounds good.
If it doesn't sound good, it's my fault.
No, it's not. Relax. But what was I saying? Off air, we were talking about the Metal Zone.
Yeah, I think it's a good pedal.
It's a great pedal.
Yep.
And then it's just the hate that comes with it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Pedals are pedals, kind of. But like, the Metal Zone's good if you don't have the Metal Zone's going back to Big Rick Braille, ladies and gentlemen. He's a wonderful man. He used to call it the stack in a box.
Stack in a box, yeah.
And it's like if you just get a Metal Zone and a clean amp, and you could make something happen.
Yeah, you have something.
Yeah, definitely, and you could do a lot with that pedal, regardless of that. But like, you could run it into anything and just get a sick
tone out of
smashing, tone, like just something that makes you want to smash shit.
I think that's the thing people forget about that pedal. It's super versatile.
Yeah,
you could use it for anything.
Yep. and it's got a lot of. It's a Boss pedal. It's fine.
Yeah.
It works. Just use it. You know, like don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it.
It's
Yeah.
a pedal. Just maybe you don't even need it.
Yeah. Put it on your pedal
Try
board.
something different. Get
Put
it.
it
Get
on-
that.
Put it on your pedal board. Don't fucking use it. But
Yeah.
just have it on there.
Fuck it. It's versatile. It's wonderful. I don't think it's underrated. I think people hate it or people
It's
like it.
Yeah, people
Like-
hate it or people like it.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
one
like,
of the very few that love it.
yeah.
And you know, I recently got, or not recently, it's been a couple of years, but I got the one that Kurt and another amp designer, they made like a PCB.
Oh, yep.
I got one like from someone else that built it himself because it's just like a DIY kind of thing.
Yep.
But I love that pedal. It sounds sick, but it's basically Metal Zone-esque.
Yep.
It has that like mid-range, like close to HM2 type stuff, but
You can make it
also, yeah.
What I think is cool about the Metal Zone is like it has that a little more of a sweeping EQ.
Yeah,
It like
the
has a little
EQ
more
is
of
the
a
best part.
yeah. You can just do a little more with it, and like I'm sure you can get something similar to the HM2 tone.
You can.
of
It
it,
just
you know?
I don't personally think it sounds good. I think it has its own thing, and like from all the bands I'm thinking of, like Cannibal Corpse used it for like early on until they discovered the ST9.
Oh yeah.
And then Crowbar uses it to this day.
Really?
Yes,
How do I not know that?
he still uses it.
Man.
That with the Randall, I know he was using Orange for a little bit, and then he moved back to Randall's.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, I can't believe I didn't know he used a Metal Zone.
it's Metal Zone, and it's level turned all the way up, everything at 12, and then distortion not even on. So it uses it as a boost,
Yeah.
but
that's
it
sick.
makes
Oh yeah, just gives
I mean, come on.
it the thing.
the chunk.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I guess we could segue to guitars. So after the Ibanez, after getting your first guitars, when did you get your real guitar? Like your first ever, I'm not selling this ever. I am now a rock star.
That was probably my Les Paul, my first Les Paul custom.
You Les Paul custom.
Yeah.
It was just straight out the bat, Les Paul custom.
Yes.
What year was it?
87. Yeah,
It's a good year.
it was a good year.
It's like fine wine.
Yeah, and I think I got it it was fairly new when I got it.
Yeah.
I think I got it in like 89 or 90.
So it was like a couple
something
years.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was great, and I loved it. And I used it for a really long time, and it got stolen eventually. Bum out. It got stolen 3 times.
How does
The
it-
third time it never came. It didn't come back.
Stolen 3 times?
Well, attempted. It got stolen once, and I got it back. And then someone attempted to steal it, and I found it hidden away, and then someone stole it.
So if you have Sean's guitar,
You're a jerk.
You give it back now,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to deal with me,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
It's somewhere. It got stolen out of one of we had like a rider truck. Hatebreed had a rider
Oh,
truck.
so that was around the time that you started playing with Hatebreed?
Yeah. I had it up until I recorded Perseverance with it.
Oh my god! If you have his guitar, give it back now, you piece of shit.
Yeah, that's like the one that I recorded all the stuff with, like the 100 Demons demo, or like the Perseverance record, or
I'm
know
bummed.
if-
I'm bummed just listening to this.
I think the Higher. You know what? Funny enough, I think when Higher Force recorded way back in the day, I think I used an Ibanez.
Oh, so that was the Ibanez.
It was it was me and Dave, the other guitar player, Dave Duncan. We just used his rig because it was just easier. He had he had a Marshall.
Is it?
He had a Marshall, and then I think we just used the same.
Gotcha.
We just handed each other.
You're just
We didn't
like,
change anything
oh,
to
you're blowing
record.
the head this weekend. Okay, fine.
Like
Cool.
I think when we made the demo stuff for Higher Force, that was an Ibanez. But yeah. Anyway,
Still Marshall.
but still Marshall. Yeah. But the Les Paul was pretty much that Les Paul was on almost everything, anything I did. Whether it was I didn't do a lot, but like it was all up until Perseverance,
Yeah.
and then it got stolen outside of Philly.
This is why I can't. I'll do a Les Paul, but I don't think I can do custom.
Yep. How come?
Price?
Well, price. Yeah.
Nowadays
too, it's like, wow, man, like.
Price is definitely the. I mean, I don't unless YouTube starts paying me.
Yeah. Or unless Gibson Look at us.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Just
Look at us.
look it up.
Come on. But yeah, the customs, but you know, from a certain year they do get, or people say the quality gets down for Gibsons, but I mean, once they had those robo like tuners,
I'm not into that.
that's when I like kind of like, okay, what are they doing here? And
Yeah, it got a little funky for a while.
yeah.
It was I think Gibson got off the rails for a little while,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think they kind of do every once in a while. But like, it's a
Yeah.
big company.
It's
It's a corporation.
a corporation. Yeah.
It's not a guitar builder. You
Yeah,
know what I
it's
mean?
not a
It is,
luthier,
but
yeah,
like,
it is, but it isn't. Yeah.
but like, so it's like I think they go through some funky experimental phases here and there and try
Yeah.
to be more innovative. That they don't.
They don't
In
need
my
to.
opinion, they don't need to be.
They don't need to be.
But
it's the perfect guitar.
But I think if it's a Gibson Les Paul, whether it's a studio, whether it's a classic, a standard, a custom, I don't think you can go wrong with it.
I'm thinking about buying one. The one that Jerry Cantrell used, that model, Gibson Les Paul Light, Studio Light.
Yep.
But the one he uses for that music video,
I don't think I've seen that.
You watch the music video again because it's just like a plain Les Paul. There's no pickguard or anything like that.
Yeah.
There's no holes drilled or anything for a pickguard. You know, kind of looks like a normal Les Paul, but the thing that's cool is just it's plain. But there's a cool like finish on there.
All right.
I've been looking at those.
How much? How much are they going for?
One I'm looking for like 850.
Yeah,
like
that's all right.
Yeah, I could do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's like, funny enough, I'm thinking about buying a studio and putting a Kaler on it.
Oh.
So I want to get like a couple of studios or something like that and just put Kalers on those. I was talking to Taylor about them, but like, because I want Kalers all the time, but I don't have any Gibsons with Kalers.
Yeah.
And it's like killing me at this point in my life.
Yeah. And nothing, I mean,
I have a couple of LTDs that I love that are great and they have Kalers on. I got the JH600s.
I mean, that's the coolest one.
Yeah, they're great. And I love them.
Yeah,
I do love them, but like, I just have a weird guilt if I'm not playing a Gibson. It's like very real.
You need to.
Yeah, even if the guitar. That's why I say I love Ibanez's. I love Jacksons. Dude, I love guitars across the board.
Guitars are like awesome.
I'm fan of their existence. Any way I can get them. Anyway.
Yes.
But my preference, and I'm just loyal to Les Pauls because it's just. Yeah. I've played Les Paul customs for so long that it's like my body's shifted.
Yeah.
To playing those guitars. Yeah.
The first real guitar I had was a Gibson Gothic.
No shit.
Les Paul. So I started with Les Paul.
Yeah.
And I think once I sold it to like get like a custom V, and I don't even have the custom V anymore. So I'm just like, why did I? So now I'm at a point in my life where I like maybe I should be an adult and get a Les Paul.
Yeah.
Maybe I should grow up and get a Les Paul.
Hey, why don't you grow up?
Yeah, you know.
You get a Les Paul. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're a man now, all right?
I'm a man now. I got kids.
You got kids. You're married. Yeah. Get a Les Paul.
Get a Les Paul. That's the thing, you know.
But even if you got a studio or something, it doesn't. I don't think there's a crappy Les Paul. I don't know. They're all cool.
That's honestly true.
Yeah, like I do. I want to get a couple studios or something like the SG.
SG.
Yeah, I want Kalers on Gibsons, and I can't afford
the custom.
It's like $6,000. It's insane to me right now. Like I go on Reverb, and I'm always looking, and I'm always like a cheap Les Paul custom with a Kaler that came with it, like factory or whatever. It's like $4,500, and it's like that's the cheapest one. It's ridiculous.
I'm not farting, by the way. It's the chair.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
It's combo
of both.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
I want to get like Taylor has one here.
Yeah, he has one here. This is.
I want to bite Taylor's style. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But I think this came stock, and this is not my guitar. This is Taylor Young's guitar.
Yeah, and I think Taylor traded something for that.
Yeah, but I love this thing. I played this, and I was like, ah!
I did use that because I was using Jackson, and you know, with the Floyd Roses, when you change strings, you have to like adjust the tension of the
actual Kaler.
Yeah, so if you start playing with it, for some reason it like goes out of tune slightly, so I have to like tune it again. But I use that for a practice before I can adjust my Jackson. Feels amazing.
I love it.
I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to do.
That's like, so whenever I play anything that isn't a Gibson, even if it feels great, I feel like I'm being a bad friend. Isn't that ridiculous?
It
But
is.
whatever.
I mean, not really. But here's my next question that came at the top of my head. How do you feel about Gibsons?
I'm not opposed to them.
Whoa.
Yeah, go for it. I don't know. Like, if
Yeah.
you can make it work,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to lie to someone. Like, if I was playing, I've thought about it, like getting a Les Paul custom and
Like,
just throwing a Kaler on it and having a Les Paul custom with a Kaler that only cost me $600, like total with the Kaler. Yeah, thought definitely crosses my mind. But full disclosure, there's no way I would be able to fake the funk. I would have to almost be like, in between songs, I'd be like, by the way, this isn't a real Gibson. Just so everybody knows. Sorry.
I had a Gibson Les Paul Gibson.
Oh, yeah?
It was based on a custom, but it was really fucking nice. Like, it had all of the hardware from a Gibson. Like, Gibson hardware was on there.
Yeah.
It felt really nice.
Dude.
And I just got another one, too.
I've played a few that are great. I have a few friends that have gotten them, and I play them, and I'm just like, come on, you want it to suck so bad. And it's just like, how much did you pay? $300. Oh, what? No! Like,
yeah. And
it's a custom, and you're just like, I could buy 10 of these and still not be.
Yeah. I don't know what factory they're making them out of, but right now, Gibson, like, Les Paul copies, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're very good. And I feel like...
How about this? In the event that I go the route of getting one of these and putting a Kaler in it, can we do another episode where I have it? I'll be full disclosure to the... So here it is.
Here's the thing. I have one that's being worked on right now because there's like a couple things that you got to do with it, but I'm changing like the pickups and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's really nice.
That's why I figured if I just... get out of here.
It's like an Explorer, but it's like a custom Explorer.
Nice.
And there's no like serial number in the back. It's awesome. I can't wait to... I mean, I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but we'll see.
Yeah, whatever. You'll have it.
Yeah, I'll have it.
Like, I figure if I got one of those and just threw EMG in it and a Kaler and didn't care, I want a Floyd Rose locking nut. It doesn't matter. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about drilling through the neck or anything like that.
It's not like, oh, this costs $10,000.
Yeah.
I want to fucking touch
exactly. It. So, but anyway, someday.
Yeah.
My plan right now is maybe just get a studio and throw a...
Studios are doable.
Yeah,
you can do studios.
Get a Les Paul.
Okay. What else can we talk about? I mean, you said you loved like all kinds of guitars.
Mm-hmm.
If you weren't a Gibson guy, what would you like? Would you do like LTD, like because of the EC100 and stuff, or EC1000? I'm sorry.
I don't know. I think if I wasn't,
if you had to pick, if Gibsons did not exist.
Oh, if Gibsons didn't exist.
Yeah. What is like the one thing that you're just like, oh, I can get this?
I might play Strats.
Whoa. You know, it's really funny that you went from classic body shape to classic body shape.
Or honestly, yeah, like, I like, and this is funny because, like, I like classic shit.
Yeah.
That being said, a Strat or a vintage USA handmade BC Riches.
Whoa.
All day long. So my old BC Riches are my favorite guitar other than
NJ
Gibson's.
series?
NJs are cool.
Like old, like USA.
USAs and old NJs, neck throughs.
Neck throughs.
Those are some of my favorite guitars ever, with Kalers.
All the NJ series I just sold recently.
Oh, yeah?
So I'm just like, I don't miss them. That's the thing.
Well, like, to me, I only have one. I had one before. I had a Mockingbird years ago, and it was beautiful, and I loved it.
Did you have an Eagle as well?
I used an Eagle for a while.
Ooh.
I borrowed one.
Borrowed.
This is years and years ago. Yeah, I forget what tour. A couple of tours I think I did, and it was an Eagle with an 81 EMG 81 in it, and I used that for when I first joined Hatebreed. Like, I was using my Les Paul. It was the wine red one that I had, and then I had this Eagle that someone let me borrow. I can't remember his name now. Kevin. He was like a dude that hung with Candaria. Like, we had toured with Candaria, and then this dude had a BC Rich, and he was like, "Yo, you should just use it. It's awesome." I was like, "Oh, okay," and it was awesome, and I used it for a while.
Made?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Actually, I think it was a BC Rico.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was a BC Rico Eagle, which same. It was just,
Yeah, it's Sam just fucking built by
it was like
a
a,
mad genius.
yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
so old BC Riches are like my favorite thing other than
Gibson.
Gibsons, and then Fenders are obviously, I love those too. So
Yeah, you
I'm like,
can't go wrong with like a Strat, honestly.
but if there was never Gibson, I would like probably like honestly like a Strat or two totally different worlds, a Strat or a Warlock.
Strat or Warlock. You know what? But the Warlock is super comfortable.
I love them.
You can like, they don't have neck dive or anything like that because the body's so weird that it like goes down. And then when you sit down with them,
they feel perfect.
It's like, oh my god, what
dude,
the fuck?
it's like perfect. I have a Warlock. That's what I got at home, and I love it. And it's an old, I don't know what year it is, but it's a handmade, and it's neck through, and it's beautiful.
Who gave it to you?
Oh, actually, I got it from a friend of mine. Yeah. I got it from who worked for Sepultura a long time ago, and allegedly, it had been Max's guitar at one point.
I believe it.
And then I think it got smashed a bunch of times.
Whoa.
And got put back together. And then I'm pretty sure Goody bought it, and then he used it in his band. Goody was our sound guy for Hatebreed for a long time. And every time I would be at his house, I would be like, yo, go get that thing. Let me play that. And then one day he was like, just take it home.
Wow.
So, and it's ridiculous. No matter what, it's an unbelievable guitar.
Person.
I know. I thought about using it for Sound and Fury.
Does it have a Kaler or no?
No, it doesn't have a Kaler. So I'm in Kaler mode probably for the rest of my life. So unless
it has to have it.
If I'm playing live with it, I want it to have it. Yeah, that's why I got to get some Gibsons with Kalers, because recording wise, I always use my Les Paul with the one pickup.
Oh yeah.
That's like my rhythm track guitar forever.
Well,
so
segue into that. So when you were in Hatebreed, you were using the Les Paul Custom.
Yep.
And it got stolen.
Yep.
What did you do? What did you do?
I bought a couple of other Les Pauls first. I bought a friend of mine sold me a gold Les Paul, like a classic.
I think I've seen a picture of you yelling, and then like I think I have a picture of it, and it's like a gold top, right?
Yep.
I think I have a picture of that.
I got that, and then I bought a 72 custom.
Oh my god!
And then I got in touch. Everybody knew my guitar got stolen. It was kind of a bum out, like big deal, because it was really beat to shit Les Paul Custom that like no one. It was kind of cool, you know. Yeah. It was really cool, but like because it was so hammered looking, like it was almost like people couldn't believe I didn't want a new guitar. Like you know what I mean? I was like, no, never. I'd still be playing it. There's no way I would ever play another guitar.
If you fucking have Sean's guitar, you need to give it back.
Such a bum out. But I don't know where I'm at.
You're at where you bought the two Gibsons?
Yes. Then, so everybody knew I was bummed. Everybody was bummed I got stolen, whatever. And word got through, and I got connected to the Gibson custom shop. And then they had me come through when we were playing in town.
Yeah.
And
Nashville?
Yeah. And then they had me, they were like, whatever you need, whatever you want. Like, and I was like, well, I got a crazy idea for Les Paul I've always wanted since I was a kid. And they're like, what do you want? And I was like, I just want the bridge pickup only, and like no toggle switch. And he was just like
full blown all the time.
Yeah. And he was just like, one volume knob. He was like, all right, we could do that. And they did it for me. And at the time, it's out there now. There's other guitars like that. But
but they have two knobs.
Yeah, usually they have a tone knob, and a couple other people did one pickup since then. But like at that point, the only other dude, he told me the only other guy who had ordered a one pickup Les Paul was Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick.
Whoa.
And I thought that was hilarious and awesome. So
sick.
So then now it's like not uncommon really, but like at the time it looks it's really weird with not having a neck pickup in it and not having a toggle switch makes it look longer.
Yeah,
like it's like it's like a optical illusion though.
Yeah, it's really like just what a Gibson custom looks like, but it looks bigger.
Yeah.
I don't know, like you said, there's nothing on it, so it just looks ginormous.
Yeah, and it's just same specs. I didn't even get fancy with it. He was like, "What kind of neck profile do you want?" And I'm like,
"The one you fucking."
I was like, I couldn't even believe it was happening.
Yeah.
I was like, neck profile? Who thinks about that? I don't care. Just give me Les Paul with the one pickup. Sick.
Yeah.
And then the volume knob, just one volume knob chilling, and then I put the volume knob in a spot where it normally doesn't go. For that pickup. Because
was it like were they
for rolling off? It's easier.
For rolling off.
Like if you look at a Les Paul,
we have one.
We have one right here. It's another legendary Les Paul.
Yeah, that's legendary shit right there.
This is what I'm using at Sound and Fury.
You're using all right. So this is gonna come out after Sound and Fury, but it's gonna look really cool.
So normally this is your
that's the volume, yeah.
But on my guitar it's this.
So you don't have the chance.
There's none of this here. Yeah, no. And when I was young, my Les Paul that I had that got stolen.
Yeah.
This pickup was always disconnected. Mm-hmm. Always. Like I
never used the neck.
I never did. So this was always disconnected, but there was always a pickup in it. And I switched the knobs because before Rick Braille taught me about a noise suppressor pedal, I used to just
roll off the volume.
So like I'd put the volume knob there, so it was easier for me with the regular.
Getting there,
it just made sense, and it was also out of the way.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't hit it by accident.
Because you like to hit strums so hard that the wood comes off.
Yeah, I've got holes in all my guitars.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I definitely have holes in my 72 and my black custom with the one pickup and the red one that got stolen. They all have holes here from picking.
That's so crazy.
Dude, I remember one time when you were in Twitching Tongues and we were in. I think we were in Denver. And I was like, just changed strings, and I was like playing, and you were like, why do you pick like that?
Because you were picking so hard. I'm like, these strings ain't going to last. But then I realized, like, oh, you change strings every, like, 2 shows.
Yeah, I changed strings a lot.
Yeah.
Not as much as I used to. Well, obviously, we're not touring or anything crazy right now, but, like, I backed off with the paranoia of breaking strings because maybe I'll go 3 shows. I'll get crazy.
3 shows. I don't do, like, if I practice once and I don't play the guitar for like another week, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
If I'm like constantly playing shows, I'm like shit.
Like if we're playing if it's nights in a row, which outside of Hatebreed, when I was in Hatebreed, we toured a lot. It was like 7 days a week, 300 days a year. So that's why I was like paranoid about breaking strings.
You're like, I have to change this.
Yeah. So I just got in that habit, but I also pick like an animal. So
yeah, it's fucking crazy.
I'm worried that I'm going to break a string.
The strings were like, if my hands were strings, the strings were like this, all in. He was strumming, and they're like this. I'm like, I could see the note that you're playing.
Stop it! Hold on, bronchitis.
Bronchitis, yeah. I saw the note that you were playing. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. Like, how do you?
The actual frequency.
Yeah, I could see the frequency range. I'm like, oh, that's at like 4K. That's crazy. But yeah, I think I have more questions, but
yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Edit it in post. Talking. Put it all together.
We're just talking. That's the main thing.
That's it. It's just a conversation with friends.
We're just having a conversation between 2 grown men.
Yes.
So, back to borrowing heads and stuff. When was the first like amp? When was that? When you joined Hatebreed, and then what was it?
Oh, I had a 5150 for a while.
So 5150 for a while.
Yeah, when I joined Hatebreed, I needed to get an amp.
So you were like, okay, 5150, let's go.
So yeah, I got it was a 5152.
Whoa.
Yeah, because that was what was out at the time.
I have
that had just come out.
In my car right now.
Oh yeah? I love them. I do love them. They're different. They're not a Marshall.
Well, no.
But like at the time, it sounded great, and I used that. Now, at least I didn't record with it or anything, but I toured with it a lot.
Yeah.
And then here's a funny story. So I wanted a Marshall. Hold on, I think Taylor's home.
I think Taylor's here.
Hi.
We're not filming.
We are filming.
We are.
The camera's up there.
Come on, look, it's Taylor Young.
I'm fucking putting that in there. All of that, dude.
So I had a 5152.
5152.
And then
what year was the 2?
I don't know. It must have been 99 or 98 or 99.
So it was around the 90s.
I joined Hatebreed in 99. No, I joined Hatebreed in the end of 98, I think.
I feel like that was...
So I joined Hatebreed the end of 98, and then I had a 5150. So 5152.
It's similar.
Yeah, it was similar. It was fine. It sounded good. But the thing is it was $800, and a Marshall DSL was $1,600. So I bought...
DSL?
Yeah, the DSL 100 back then.
Jesus.
There was a TSL and the DSL 100.
Yeah.
And I was going to get the DSL, but it was over. Maybe it wasn't 1,600, but it was like over it was like 1,200 or something like that.
I could do 800.
800, I was able to like swing. You know what I mean? So I got that out of necessity. I was looking at the Marshall, but I was like, I literally can't afford it, so I got enough for that. I'll take that, and it was fine. It worked great. Hatebreed got on the first Ozfest we did. We were like first stage playing early in the morning and shit or whatever all the time, and then the 5150 blew.
Ooh.
And I had no amp.
Yeah.
So someone let me borrow a Marshall. I was like, yes, like awesome, so psyched. Oh, thank God my amp blew. Like, you know, like so someone's letting me borrow their DSL 100, and I'm like, oh, that's the sound. That's the one I wanted. I was so excited, and it sounded so sick. And we were playing in I think Jersey or something like that. And we played the set, and it was great. It was awesome. My guitar sounded amazing. I was so happy. Near home, you know, like everybody was smashing each other. It was sick. And then Marshall rep came up to me and was like, "Hey,
the guardian angel.
Here's my card." He was like, "We'd like to talk to you. If you want to join the family, we'd love to have you." And I was just like,
"Yeah." You started levitating.
Like insane.
Holding the card, like, what the fuck is going on?
And that was Nick Bocott, and who I'm still friends with, and I love him to death. And I'm going to shout out Nick because shout out Nick Bocott, who is also the guitar player for Grim Reaper, baby.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, not Grim Reaper, baby. Grim Reaper.
Grim Reaper, not Grim Reaper. Grim Reaper, baby is another band from Europe.
But so I knew who it was, so that was sick to me too.
Yeah, it's sick.
But then I got a Marshall endorsement, and I was in, and I had Marshalls, and I was like, "This is insane."
Fuck. So you got a DSL, or did you?
I got a TSL.
You got a TSL.
Yep, and that's what I used for. On Perseverance, it was a TSL and a VHT Pitbull.
Whoa.
Yeah, but mostly TSL. But it was like mixing the two tones to get one tone kind of blended, but more TSL. And we tried a lot of different amps, and we ended up with the VHT being like the complementary tone kind of or whatever.
And you recorded with Zeus, right?
No, that was Matt Hyde. Zeus was assistant engineer. Or no, Zeus was engineer. Matt Hyde was producer.
Wow.
Yeah. So and then we went through a lot of shit, a lot of different amps, and then the TSL was in it the whole time.
Yeah. That's what I think when I think of Hatebreed. I think of the TSL 100.
Yeah, and that's what they still use.
I mean, I was on stage. That's what they still use. You use the DSL, but for some reason, it just sounded fucking crazy when you're on stage.
Well, no, you know what?
Crazier.
Yeah, it sounded good. Just sounds good, son. You know what I mean? It's all about that right there.
Yeah.
You put holes in guitars to get that sound.
Jesus Christ.
But I used the DSL on that.
Yeah.
But for every record was mostly TSL.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was the VHT, and then the second one was that's when I got a Mode 4.
Mode 4.
When the Mode 4s came out, which they don't make them anymore, but when they came out, they did a push with them, and they wanted me to be like one of the dudes using them. So they gave me like they gave me one of the one before they were out. They gave me one.
Whoa! So
and that's what I recorded Rise of Brutality with. Not a prototype, but
that's Rise of Brutality.
Rise of Brutality is a TSL and a Mode 4. Yeah. And guitars I used are on every album: Perseverance, Rise of Brutality, and Supremacy. Perseverance, I used my Les Paul that got stolen.
Yeah. And
then I used a SG1, like a All American that's just got one pickup in it. It's 24 fret.
Whoa.
And my friend Phil Cavano, who teched for us on the records, Phil Cavano of Monster Magnet. He's a wonderful legend. He's awesome. He teched for me on those records too.
Okay.
And that was his SG. So I used his SG, and we set it up to C, and he put an EMG 81 in it for the records, and then we just used that. So it's a Les Paul custom, whichever for like I said, Perseverance was that one, and that SG with the TSL and the VHT, and then Rise of Brutality was the 72 Les Paul custom that I got with the 81 in it, that SG with the one pickup, and then a TSL and a Mode 4, and then I really can't remember on Supremacy if we used the Mode 4 or if I was just using TSLs at that point.
That's crazy.
I really can't remember. But
live for sure you're using the Mode 4.
Live for sure I was using TSL and a Mode 4. But then when Frank joined the band, that's when we went all TSL. So Frank joined the band, and then he had TSLs, and I had TSLs, and the Mode 4 was gone because I was just doing that to make it sound as much like two guitar players more than one.
Gotcha. So it's not like you're using two amps. It's like different frequencies, or are you using the same frequencies? Like, would you set up the amps at the same like settings?
No, they had different sounds. Like this sound, like the Mode 4 I used to be more bassy
Gotcha.
and like
Yeah,
kind of like
'cause
more muddy.
the Mode 4, isn't it like solid state?
Yeah, and it had a bunch of phases. It had different, like you could use like classic, or you could go like,
Yeah.
you know, you make it sound super high gain or whatever, like all that shit. So I would use it to get like a little more of like just a little more of a blown out sound, kind of.
Just the
less defined.
the balls.
More balls.
More balls.
And then the TSLs were like the mid range and the attack.
The attack and like the picking and stuff.
Yeah. And then
awesome.
and then I had an ABY box, so I would run it, and I would have it so for all the punches and stuff, I would be able to turn one amp off. I would turn that side of the stage off for the punches, so it sounded like it was still doing the thing it was supposed to do.
Damn, that's crazy.
And then live, Chris would just ring out the bass notes more if it was like a hang or something, you know, whatever. But like it worked really well for a long time. But then when Frank joined the band, I was like, all right, well, we don't need to pretend we got two guitar players.
You have your two.
And then he got just the same amps that I had. As a team, we decided obviously we weren't going to use. We didn't want to use the solid state amps, man.
Oh, come on. That's one question, or one thing I like, because I love solid state amps.
No, I do too. I don't have a problem with them.
I don't have a problem with it, and I feel like there's a resurgence with like, you know, pedal board kind of like, you know, there's make boxes. Seymour Duncan has a box this big.
Yeah.
150 watts.
Yeah.
I was using that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Until I got the VH300, and it's such a resurgence of just like solid state power.
Yep.
It's just so much easier traveling with it.
Taylor and I were talking about this for that reason alone. I back it.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. I love tube amps. No matter. I like Gibsons and I like Marshalls.
You're preaching to the choir.
And I love tube amps. But like, yeah, dude. But like, if it works and it sounds sick, especially if you could like fit it in your backpack and go play a show, I back it.
Yeah.
And I think solid state. Obviously, I used the Mode 4 for years, you know, as part of my rigs. So
I think the one thing I was wondering about is if you were actually using it, but you recorded with it. So I'm just like, okay, it's not bullshit. You used it.
Yeah.
And solid state is usable.
Definitely.
It's just people are looking for this like tone of tube, and everybody plays blues chords and stuff like that, which is fine.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
But sometimes you gotta grow up.
A lot of people like, and if it's not a super high gain amp, a lot of people might just think they like tubes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like not like you plug straight into a JCM 800. It's not like,
no, it's not gain.
You got to put something in the front end, and you got to work it and do something cool. That's just modded.
Yeah.
But that's part of the thing.
Part of the thing.
Or if you have EMGs, you might be able to have a crazy right hand. You might be able to like push it hard enough to make it sound cool. You know what I mean? But solid state it's a little more plug and play. Like solid state amp with the metal zone, fucking you're good.
That's 90s death metal, right?
Dude, what's better than that?
I have a crate.
Sick.
I have a crate amp, and I modded a metal zone, and I can't wait to use it. I don't know if I'm going to use it for God's hate.
You modded a metal zone?
I modded a metal zone.
What? Can you talk about it?
I can talk about it. I looked up like the Wazacraft was out, and I'm like, I already have a metal zone that's like broken.
Yeah.
So some guy on YouTube was like, take this resistor out, or is it a resistor or capacitor? I think it was a capacitor that I took out, and all you did was take out the capacitor. I put a green LED in there, so I knew that's the modded one.
Yep.
And then there's still like some on and off switch issues, but I mean, I probably have to like resolder something. But
yeah, but whatever.
Opened it right there, but I play it and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
this is beefier.
That's sick.
But yeah, I'm I'm trying to get like a space to do pedals, but having like a small understanding about it, I'm just like, oh, that's why you put stuff together and it makes the sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just knowing how to do that.
Yeah, what chips to use or what capacitors to use.
And then printing
stuff like
PCBs and like using different components and stuff like that, and different like variables and stuff. But yeah, I modded a metal zone, and I want to do it for I want to buy metal zones and just mod them because they're all cheap. Like all the old ones are like $40.
Yeah,
Because I just want to do that, like bright green LEDs and take out the capacitor and then just have a bunch of them.
that's sick. Do it.
Tone mod.
Tone mod. Man, that's genius.
I could
You're a
talk
genius.
about anything here, man.
Do whatever you want.
I can do whatever.
Yep.
We could do whatever we want.
We can.
Yeah, but I just, a lot of people have, well, like with the metal zone, they don't like the metal zone, and I'm just like, why? It works. It sounds good.
Yeah.
Solid state sounds good. Some of it does sound bad.
You can, some stuff can sound bad, but
Yeah.
like, honestly, like, I think Kurt Ballou just said it in one of in the Premier Guitar
I
thing.
saw that.
And it's the best advice ever.
Best advice
It's just,
ever.
dude, yeah, whatever you got, use it.
Whatever you have, use it. You don't need to own like a
Nope.
$6,000 guitar. You don't need to buy.
And that gives you that might take you down the road of having a unique tone and something that's just yours. You know what I mean? I back that. I'm so glad he said that. That's the coolest.
It's the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life, and I'm like, yeah, because I'm in like a gear, like, you know me. I mean, this is a tone zone. I look for stuff, and then if it's cool, I like, oh, sick. But now a lot of people are coming up to me and they're like, hey, like, I can't afford this. What would you suggest for that? And I'm like, oh, just do this, and it's cheaper.
And it's way cheaper, and you're still going to get a sick sound. And
that's
you can do it. The end goal, the ultimate goal, is to create some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so don't get hung up on some bullshit because you don't have this or you don't have that.
Yeah.
And just rip. And I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of getting hung up on some bullshit and, not finishing records for 3 or 4 years, whatever. But but it's real. Like, if there's one thing I could say, it's like, yeah, fuck that. Just solid state in a metal zone pedal, rip it. If you can afford, if you could not break the bank and get a cool sound, solid state, a weird tube amp that isn't normal, whatever.
Yeah,
who cares?
A weird tube amp that you have to put a distortion in front of, like, you can do it. Like, you can do anything you want as long as it sounds good.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
What other question? I mean, it's just two dudes talking. So
it's just a couple of guys talking, having some In-N-Out drinks.
In-N-Out drinks. Speaking of In-N-Out drinks, very good. Oh,
delicious. I had root beer.
I had Diet Coke. I drank all of it, and I poured Diet Dr. Pepper in there just for all the Bev heads out there. But it's so interesting to hear like what you used on the records, because me being a nerd, like, we're in the pit right now.
I know, so cool.
And all the records Taylor does, I'm always so interested in like what he has, and I'm like, oh, he has everything I would want ever.
Yeah.
And just he's made like a name for himself and stuff like that. But I guess
he's the god.
He's the god. He recorded my death metal band. Hopefully that's out soon, and it sounds good. And I love doing demos, but also I can mix stuff and I can do stuff. But what was I gonna ask? When you do like demos, what do you just plug straight into a DAW or something? Yeah.
Right now it's
like
way easier.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to set up a situation. My wife and I just moved into a new house, so I'm trying to like carve out a little situation so I can get a little louder and maybe mic some amps and stuff.
Whoa.
I'm really looking forward to that. But for now, the process has been I have a little UAD.
Like the solo thing?
Yeah. Now, what the hell is it? Which one is it? I'm such a dumb ass. It's not Apollo, right? It's the Apollo Twin.
Apollo Twin.
Yeah, right?
You were right.
And I got one of those, and I got a little, little setup, and I just plug straight into that. And honestly, I just use Tune Track stuff.
Tune Tracks. Wow.
Yeah, I just, whatever. And I got a Superior Drummer. So I use Superior Drummer, program drums, and I use a lot of MIDI files. Like, I just use MIDI grooves and stuff and then modify them.
You find grooves and then do you modify them?
Yeah. I just find stuff that gets me at least the idea. I'll like halftime them. I'll steal a groove. That's not stealing, actually. It's just, you'll take a groove and then I'll take it and if I like the rhythm of the beat, I'll split it halftime and see what it sounds like that. Like, oh, it's sick. And then maybe I'll write a riff to it and then I'll like modify the kicks to go with it or whatever for the demos. But like, and the guitars are just, easy mix.
Easy mix. Damn, that's crazy.
And I've just had it forever and it works. And it's super quick. Because it's just demos, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I record DIs with everything.
Whoa.
So like, if in the event, like I'll record DIs with I learned it the hard way. I didn't used to do that. And now I'm like, I'm doing this record with Taylor actually, which when it comes out, who knows?
Oh my god.
I got to do vocals on it and stuff. But like,
Whoa.
I did all the guitars. Had I recorded DIs, I'm glad I re-recorded everything a million times. But like even Taylor's like the demos were good enough, like whatever. But like I didn't record DIs. Like they were just like, it's all good, but I don't want to put a record out with the tune track stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You want it to have a little bit of.
Yeah, I want to at least reamp it through Marshalls or something and have it be, have fun with it and make it as brutal as possible. You know, like whatever. But
I'm excited about this.
Oh, thanks. Hey, I'm excited about it.
But yeah, I just started doing DIs, and then I don't do the groove things. Like I don't choose from a groove like library. I make the grooves myself.
Sometimes I do that too. Like it depends.
But I do that every single time, and I'm like, why don't I just do that? Because a lot of people do that. They find like a drum thing.
Yeah, you buy MIDI packs and stuff,
you buy MIDI packs.
And you just get the grooves or whatever. And then there's a lot of really good ones out there too. Like Ugratone is really good.
Ugratone. You know what? I bought the death metal one.
Oh, dude, those guys rule. Ugratone. Shout out Ugratone. Love you guys.
The most accurate drum sounds, I think, on the market.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm using the death metal one, like 90s old school death metal, and I'm like, oh, this sounds blown out.
Yes.
Shitty.
Yep.
There's like this quality that sounds like analog, and I'm like, damn, doing a blast beat, and I'm like,
yeah, it's sick. It sounds good.
Oh my god, this is crazy.
And you can mess with it as much as you want and make it whatever. You can refine it, whatever. And it's just, that's one company that gets it. They get what, like, so I love using their stuff because
it's a normal guy just like
doing, he knows the beats, he knows the styles, he knows the type, so it's like, it makes it easier for me to just like get to the riff.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to go to a real drummer anyway and I'm play it your way. You know what I mean? Like, so like if I use Superior Drummer with like some Ugratone grooves and MIDI maps or whatever the hell they are, I don't know. And then the Easy Mix with just like a basic, super brutal, crazy guitar sound that I digital, whatever. Yeah. And then I just can get right to work.
Yeah.
And then I'll send that like for the thing that I'm doing with Taylor. It's called Dirt God. And it's like, here's the drums, and I program these drums, and I'll use that term loosely. But like, I program the drums, click, drag.
Yeah. That's programming.
But then modify everything too and make it whatever. But then I was like, but obviously, even with the Umbra Vitae stuff, same thing. Everything I write for that or whatever, like it's like you program it, do whatever, and then you give it to the drummer. You're like, that's just broad strokes.
Yeah.
Like just be the awesome drummer you are.
Yeah.
And that's where I want the snare drum. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like whatever the song determines, I want the drummer to decide that ultimately. But it's easier to convey your message to someone when you have a little bit of a mapped out version of it. Yeah. And I think that not overthinking that is key to writing cool stuff in this day and age.
That's another thing. It's just writing cool stuff. I think a lot of people are like, how do I reinvent the wheel? And for me, it's not reinventing. It's just doing what I want to hear. Or something like, I don't hear this, so I'm going to write that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to hear this from other bands, but for some reason I don't hear it. Or they're going their own way, which is fine, which they're doing cool stuff. But I want to hear like certain things. And I think that's mainly the focus of whatever I do, because I don't write for God's hate, but like I play the riffs, and like the riffs make sense to me, and it's all Colin. And I'd rather have him write riffs because he did such an amazing job for the record that I'm just like, I'm good. I don't need.
Totally.
I'll contribute. But I think the main idea is
he's got a vision.
He's got a vision.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing, is just having a vision when you're writing something, and just like projecting it into real life.
Yes, and the quicker you can do that before the vision escapes your fucking brain.
You don't want to get stuck being like, where's the kick drum?
Yeah, and so like that's why I'll plug straight into the twin, and then I'm good. Boop, 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 and within 1 minute I'm up and running.
Yeah.
And I could get a sound and then get some drums in there, whatever, and then I got a song done like in an hour or whatever, at least a demo for it.
Gotcha.
But I used to to use a 4-track, like, you know what I mean? Like, plug straight in, like, have a drum machine,
old
like program drum machines and shit. Yeah. I used to use a 4-track, and I used to use a MPC 2000 for all the drum programming, and then that's how I used to demo then. That's why I love just going. It's like I just hired Dave Lombardo. This is amazing.
Because at that rate, you're just doing like Mortician, where it's just like sampled drums and like
Yeah, yeah.
something. Yeah. But that's sick too. Because honestly, I mean, we've talked a lot, and it's basically every question I've had as a kid. Just like when I first heard Hatebreed, I'm like, how are they fucking doing that? And I thought it was like X, Y, Z to get to fucking A, but it's literally just so simple.
It's
and
super simple.
It's super simple, and then just little things that you do, like adding the VHT, the Pitbull,
Yeah.
and then adding like the mode 4 underneath, not having it be like a main thing, but like having some like girth.
It's giving it the girth, like
Yeah, yeah.
like it's part of the tone, but it's like not the tone.
Yeah,
It takes two. It takes two to make a band. But it's like it worked really good, and we did DIs too.
Yeah.
Like so, and Zeus might have done a little magic,
Maybe.
here and there too. But
it all depends on what he
But-
did, though. Yeah.
but that's where I learned. I was like, oh shit! It's like so we're recording a mode 4, we're recording a TSL, and you're doing a DI, and that's going to go into. Then we could reamp through it again.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That was what it was too. He would reamp through, so you're getting it.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
Don't quote me 100% on that.
Well,
But I'm pretty sure it was like
it's
there was
probably
DI, and then he reamped through the rig again,
wow.
or something. I don't know, man. I might be crazy, but
I mean, that sounds. I mean, everything you're talking about sounds really basic, because that's like something that you just do for records and stuff.
Yeah. But it was just Les Pauls, SGs, and Marshalls
So,
for the most part.
From what I take away from this conversation, what I need, the Marshall, the Les Paul,
Yep.
and then just me, I guess. I don't know.
But now, real quick, on the Umbra Vitae record we just made,
Yeah.
I used a Dean Costello Heavy Metal Warfare.
You know what's funny? For my band Greenwich, we used a Dean Costello Heavy Metal Warfare.
That thing is ridiculous.
It's deadly.
I am okay. Going back to what I was talking about before,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm cheating on somebody because it's not a Marshall.
It's not a Marshall, but
oh my god!
Oh my god, this is fucking crazy.
Oh my god! It's like, oh, that's fuck. That's why. That's it. There it is.
There it is. We don't need anything else.
Yep, and we run something in the front end of it just to kind of give it a little different character.
Yeah.
For that record, me and Mike McKenzie, the other guitar player, we use the same amp, but we use different pedals in the front end.
Oh wow.
And we play different guitars. So
you're gonna have some different like.
Yeah, it's a real they work well together. Obviously, it's the same amp.
Yeah. But
they are different enough. He plays the ESP Eclipse with the EMG 81, and he's left-handed.
He was in the band
The Red Chord. Yep.
Shout out Red Chord.
Shout out Red Chord. Shout out Mike McKenzie. Shout out Umbra Vitae. Shout out Deathwish Records. What up? But so the similarity is there.
Yeah.
And it's tight.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit different, and he used a different pedal. I used a different pedal, and then the two different guitars and righty lefty. So there's a push pull.
Yeah.
But that amp, we use the same amp. And then for the leads on the record, I used a Soldano, and he used 6505.
When I think Red Chord, I think 6505.
Yeah.
That was the one where I'm like, oh, what's 6505?
Yeah.
I've only seen like 5150s.
Yep, yeah. Mike loves the 6505.
They're just amazing amps.
Yep.
So if one last thing, I know we're talking about like, being able to afford stuff, and there's probably people watching this, kids watching this, that are like, how do I get that stuff, and what do I get, and what is advice you would give them?
Well, I always like the rig that I used in Hatebreed forever. Although it wasn't inexpensive, it wasn't unobtainable. So I always took pride in like knowing that if someone liked my guitar sound, they could just go to Guitar Center and get it.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
There's not any magic in the mix. Just have a crazy right hand.
Yeah.
Like pick really hard.
And
you'll be all right. But like
play on the frets.
Yeah, play on the frets, pick really hard, use really heavy strings or whatever, but like and you can just get the sound or something like that. But fuck that too. Like that's an expensive, getting a Marshall, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Like Marshalls are not anywhere near cheap, and Gibsons are not anywhere near cheap. So like when a Les Paul Custom and a Marshall JVM right now. That it's like down payment on a house.
Yeah.
It's insane to me.
It's crazy.
So like, it's maybe not that, but it's like $7 grand.
Yeah.
Like that's nuts. So like, I find anything that gets you to the next place of making the riff happen. It's like whatever you can afford, whatever's at your disposal, just make it work. Yeah. But like, there's inexpensive stuff. Look at Craigslist. Just look at Craigslist and just type in what you want and see what comes up.
Yeah.
Go on Reverb, type in what you want. But Craigslist, local to wherever you live,
yeah,
dude, you'll find something. Your mind will be blown because there will be a Les Paul Studio for $600 and a Marshall DSL for like $800.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's still not dirt cheap, but like
something.
You might find someone getting rid of all their gear because they don't something happened or they
Yeah.
and boom.
There's always something you can find, and another one to add is Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, totally.
That's another good one too, because you can find anything, like even like Strats, something with a humbucker.
Yep.
Anything you can get that's not expensive. You don't even have to use name brand nowadays, like the Gibsons. Like you can get a Gibson that's already been
honest to God
with.
Dude,
it sounds great. Just tell people that it's fake.
Yeah, just be honest.
Just be honest.
Or not. Hey, it's up to you.
No, be honest. Every single time.
But like you can, you know, going back to, you know, like my setup might be too expensive or whatever, but like a facsimile thereof is very obtainable in this day and age. So it's like, get a Gibson, man. Throw an EMG in it, and then get like something. Get a PV.
Get a PV.
PVs are definitely awesome amps that I've used since I started playing, and I back them, and they're awesome, and they're always more expensive.
Yeah.
You know,
5150s now are pretty expensive, but you can find a decent 6505.
6505s.
The newer PVs are like $800, right?
Yeah. So it's like you could find something that is affordable that can get you to the level you want to get to, and then you can take it from there again, you know? Or you could just get a bullshit guitar, get a bullshit amp, and get a metal zone.
Yeah, there you go.
And like whatever gets you to doing what you want to do is what's important.
Yeah.
And then getting to the next step so that you can maybe afford something that's a little better. You work it and work it and work it. Like I said, I didn't even have an amp, man.
Yeah.
I was borrowing an amp when I got a Marshall endorsement. Like, so just make it work. Whatever it is, get a guitar and just riff.
There you go. On that.
Wait, real quick.
Okay.
Not on that. I've actually done some really, really, really ghetto stuff, like run a metal zone pedal direct to play a show.
You know what? That's the second time someone's told me that.
Yeah.
And the front of the house guy was like, "No, you're crazy." And then he starts playing, and he goes, "Wait, you're crazy. That sounds really good."
Yeah.
Fuck.
I don't know how it worked.
I don't know how.
I don't know, but I had no choice, and I had a metal zone pedal, and I didn't have an amp, and I wasn't able to borrow an amp for whatever. I can't remember. It was so long ago, but like, point being, whatever it takes, just get to the riff, and you'll be fine.
That is so insane. That's so crazy. Sean, thank you so much for coming on the Tone Zone.
You're wonderful. I love you.
It's been a wonderful conversation. I had a great time. Now, have a great day, and we'll see you later.
Bye.